You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canutillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canutillo Avenue in Canutillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Danny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting.
Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know that you can save money on the cost of your medications? And doing so is easy. In 2015, the County of El Paso launched a prescription discount card program from coast to coast. The cards are available to all El Paso County residents free of charge and everyone qualifies. You can pick up a card at any county office location, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, or Target pharmacies, or simply print the card at www.coastrx.com. Happy savings!
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the Purchasing Department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus through public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts, or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346th District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barril started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the purchasing department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the purchasing department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
You are watching the broadcast of the El Paso County Commissioners Court meetings. Commissioners Court meetings are held every Monday at 9:30 a.m. on the third floor of the El Paso County Courthouse, located at 500 East San Antonio in downtown El Paso. These meetings are open to the public. The meeting will start momentarily.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Monday, August 13th, 2018. Commissioners Court is meeting in regular open session. Would you please rise and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3 is the consent agenda, composed of items 3A through 3G. Are there any items that members of the court or the public would like to pull for individual discussion?
Commissioners, any items that you would like pulled? Hearing none, anybody from the public? I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout? Aye. Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 4A, resolutions. Approve and adopt a resolution supporting the proposal by the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation for the I-6 Challenge.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. I am going to go ahead and read this resolution into the record, and we have MCA's CEO Emma Schwartz here, and we will hear from her after we read this in. So, whereas the MCA Innovation Center was launched in 2017 and provides entrepreneurs and innovators looking to create a technology startup with training, mentoring, office and lab space, funding, and entrepreneurial support. And whereas the mission of the Medical Center of the Americas Innovation Center is to launch and scale high-tech startups in the region, thereby creating impact in the growth of new companies, high-wage jobs, and technology-based economic development. And whereas in support of that mission, the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation is developing a proposal to submit to the U.S. Economic Development Agency Regional Innovation Strategies I-6 funding opportunity, the I-6 Challenge. And whereas the I-6 Challenge is designed to increase entrepreneurship that is driven by innovations, ideas, intellectual property, and applied research through the process of technology commercialization that results in new businesses, accelerated paths to export, and new jobs. And whereas the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation proposes a partnership with the County of El Paso to disperse information about and recruit participants for the MCA Innovation Center and develop a plan for the MCA Innovation Center to provide access to speakers and trainings for innovators, entrepreneurs, and startup companies throughout the county. And now therefore be it resolved that the El Paso County Judge and Commissioners Court supports the proposal by the Medical Center of the Americas Foundation for the I-6 Challenge, and that the proposed project is in line with the County Economic Development Department's mission to create job opportunities for new and existing industrial and commercial development that expands the tax base and assisting entrepreneurs with resources, thereby improving the quality of life and prosperity of the county. And since this is one that's scheduled for action, we'll go ahead and take the vote, and then we can have people sign.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye?
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Ms. Schwartz?
Morning.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. I want to thank you very much for your support this morning of our grant application to the EDA for their I-6 Challenge. We are very hopeful this year, as we have been in the past, in submitting this application. One of the principles that we believe in strongly is that we need to act regionally to compete globally. So having the support of the county and all the outlying communities, I believe will make us a lot stronger. I'd like to introduce right now Jeff Fuchsberg. He is the Senior Director of our Innovation Center, just to say a couple words about what the center itself.
Good morning, Judge and Commissioners. Thank you very much for your support. The MCA Innovation Center just finished its first cohort of the program that we will be rolling out once more in the fall. In that short amount of time, some of our startups have successfully raised angel investment, closed contracts, and grown their revenues, increased their user bases, gained entry into nationally prominent accelerator programs, and our goal for this year is to expand our footprint and become even more of an accessible community resource. I'd like to thank the county for its support, and along with our regional partners, I expect this year to be even more impactful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a great afternoon. We appreciate the collaboration.
Item number 4B, approve and adopt a resolution recognizing all who contributed to the El Paso Veterans and Riders Association Veterans Food Drive.
I have the honor of reading this resolution and have the honor of helping organize this event. It was extremely successful, and I'm just thankful to all of the people who came out, supported the event, and helped contribute to the El Paso, people in need in El Paso. Whereas on April 15th, 2018, the County of El Paso, City of El Paso, and the El Paso Veterans and Riders Association kicked off the Veterans Food Drive to collect food for veterans, with collection bins being placed throughout both the city and County of El Paso. And whereas the El Paso Veterans and Riders Association coordinated the event between the city and county to help the homeless and less fortunate veterans throughout the El Paso community, helping to raise over 15,000 pounds of food. And whereas the District Attorney's Office was the top contributor to the food drive, collecting over 1,400 cans of food to donate. And whereas the County Attorney's Office was also went above and beyond, helping to raise over 800 cans of food to give to those less fortunate. And whereas Delia Briones and the county clerk staff reached deep and provided numerous cans and a 100-pound bag of beans to help those out in need. And whereas the Juvenile Probation Department got creative, offering a raffle of 2 El Paso Chihuahuas tickets and the opportunity to wear jeans if you brought in 3 canned food items. And whereas the City of El Paso not only helped with food donations, but they also provided the big yellow bins that the food was collected in. And whereas the great cause was supported by many others to include the County Jail and Sheriff's Department, County Medical Examiner's Office, County Public Works, Judge Maria Salas Mendoza, the County Sports Park and Security Park, County Auditor's Office, the County General Assistance Department, County Human Resources Department, Office of the County Tax Assessor Collector, and all the individuals who donated in the bins throughout the county and City of El Paso. Now therefore be recognized by the El Paso County Judge and Commissioners Court the many great donations of food and money to help this great cause of feeding those veterans who are in need. Signed this 13th day of August 2018 by this Honorable Commissioners Court.
Second.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty.
Aye.
Judge vote.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good morning.
Morning.
Aye.
I'm Darrell Mond, founder and president of El Paso Veterans and Riders. Of course, you all know who I am. Today I'm joined by the chapter first lady, Charlene Mond, the VP of Operations, Lucy Nahara, and Claudia from the DA's office. I want to say thank you. We put this together in 2 weeks, launched it, and another tremendous successful event because you all support the veterans. And on behalf of our veterans, I want to thank you all very, very much for just jumping in there at any time we've needed your help, and the sacrifices that y'all do, the support that we get from you is all very deeply appreciated. And we thank you for what you do for us. We do notice it, we do appreciate it, and we just can't do it without y'all. And we do appreciate it.
Thank you again, and thank you for continuing to partner with various members of the court on the initiatives that you're working on. I know that Commissioner Leon has been very instrumental in the past on the blanket drive and now the food drive with Commissioner Haggerty, so we appreciate your willingness to partner with us. So, thank you. Excellent. A round of applause, please.
Also, before that goes on as well, I have a second thank you for the El Paso Veterans and Riders Association for their continued support of the veterans here in El Paso. We have a flag that was POW MIA flag that was flown over El Paso County from August 27th through September 29th. That will be given to you as well, along with a certificate. So thank you all for what you've done. So I want to give you both of those, so we can do a photo and at the bottom.
We don't have a file folder. We got like 20 of them.
Nice. Are you smart aleck, buddy? Well, you don't have nice things.
No one's going to recognize me.
I'm so much, guys. Come on.
motivated her to...
Item number 4C, approve and adopt a resolution declaring Thursday, August 16, 2018 as National Airborne Day in El Paso County, Texas.
In continuing with the spirit of our veterans and our armed forces members, it is my honor to read this resolution into the record. Whereas the 82nd Airborne Division, known as the nation's Guard of Honor, was the first airborne division organized out of the success of the Parachute Test Platoon and the Early Airborne Training Program, and has continued in active service since its creation in 1940. And whereas the 82nd Airborne Division exists to continue to foster the special esprit de corps among fellow paratroopers to perpetuate the memory of those 82nd Airborne Division troopers who fought and died for our nation, and to further the common bond among all members of the airborne community. And whereas the 82nd Airborne Division has played a major role in past conflict and contributed immeasurably to the victories achieved by our armed forces, and members of the 82nd Airborne Division have made many sacrifices during their years of service, the citizens of the United States will forever be in debt for your dedication and commitment. And whereas the high standards and precepts of the 82nd Airborne Division have been an influence for the good of our community, and whereas the airborne forces, past and present, celebrate August 16th as the anniversary of the first official jump by the Army Parachute Test Platoon. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the El Paso County Judge and Commissioners Court do hereby declare August 16th, 2018 as National Airborne Day, signed this 13th day of August, 2018 by the honorable members of the El Paso County Commissioners Court.
Second.
Good morning.
We're just going to vote on it.
Real quick vote, yeah.
We
Just a real quick vote, and then we open it up. Sorry about that.
Point of order.
Commissioner Perez.
Aye.
Commissioner Leon.
Aye.
Commissioner Stout.
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty.
Aye.
Judge vote.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Good morning, and thank you so much for being here with us.
And I apologize. I guess I was preemptive there.
No worries.
Assuming things. I'm Command Sergeant Major Philip Sloniger, and I represent these other members of the 82nd All Airborne Benavides Patterson chapter here in El Paso, Texas. And I think President Kennedy said it better than I could. When he stated that a nation reveals itself not only by the men and women it produces, but also by the men and women it honors, the men and women it remembers. And just as it's important for us to remember and immortalize the things that you do for this county on a daily basis, we certainly thank you for it. And I appreciate the fact that you, as representatives of the county people, the constituency, take the time to recognize the vanguards of freedom, the people that have given us the very freedoms that we take advantage of every day. And that's the only reason I participate in the organization itself. So thank you.
Thank you all. I don't know if each one of you would like to introduce yourselves.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Reverend Douglas P. Davis, and I came to El Paso through the United States Army. I took my basic here and did 2 tours in Vietnam, and it's a blessing. They sent me right back to Fort Bliss, Texas, and El Paso. Transitioned from the Military Police Corps directly into the El Paso Police Department. Did 27 years.
Say that again. I didn't hear that.
Commissioner Leon was my boss, as it were. Retired after 27 years, but 35 years total. And just a blessing to be here to represent the Benavides Patterson All Airborne chapter of the 82nd Airborne Division Association. One note, there are 2 chapters in the United States of America that own their own property that would be headquartered at Fayetteville at Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And this chapter here in El Paso, Texas, if you didn't know that, then that is one fact of note. And we're very proud of that. But thank you once again for supporting us and have been supporting us for such a great length of time. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your service.
Good morning, everyone. I am Leslie Ann Swanson. I am the wife of retired Staff Sergeant Paul Swanson, who is also airborne, and I am here in support of the members of this chapter, and I thank you very much for all your support in the community for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Ken Grizzly Kruger. The only thing I'd like to say is that when I was in the Army, I was so ugly when they yelled hit the dirt, they all jumped on me. 21 years of black and blue, go figure. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. And Commissioners, it really is our honor, just for the community to know and our guests here to recognize our veterans and members of the military and the various branches. I think it's evident that El Paso is proud to call Fort Bliss home, not only because of the missions that are being staged out of Fort Bliss, but also for the fact that I think our community offers a great place for our members to retire, as is evident by you, sir, who served so honorably not only for our country but locally in our community and served with Commissioner Leon. So thank you all so much for all that you do and continue to do and for being so active in El Paso.
Thank you.
Thank you. Round of applause, please.
Thank you.
Item number 5, public comment.
Commissioners, we do have one member of the public signed up to speak, and that is Mr. Ervi Martinez. Mr. Martinez. Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Ray Martinez, and the reason I'm here is to talk about for simplicity case, let's call it the Mankato Easement Project down in the Lower Valley near Clint. The reason I'm here is that last week I got a proposal, I guess, from the Public Works Department, adding an additional 15 feet of easement. I had agreed to donate the land, that's the arroyo that's behind my house, but I cannot afford to give another additional 15 feet. The proposal calls that the additional 15 feet would bring the boundary of the arroyo within a few feet of my back door, and I wouldn't feel very comfortable having it that close if it ever got flooded. And the reason I'm here also is to ask for your help so that we can just agree to the land that I was originally donating, which would be the arroyo that is now there. The reason I'm here also is because I've been calling the Public Works Department and I haven't gotten any response or any call from them, and I need some help so we can get this settled. Like I said, I was willing to donate the land of the arroyo that belongs to me, and no more than that. I can't afford any more than that. So I asked for the Commissioner's Court help so we can get this resolved with the Public Service Department.
Okay. And we appreciate you coming in.
Judge.
Ms. Keller will go ahead and speak to this or relay the message to Ms. Palacios in Public Works.
I'd like to step out and speak with him while court continues and address his concerns.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Betsy,
Thank you.
I think we also have Public Works is on their way to come speak with him.
Okay.
So I appreciate that.
All right.
They're on their way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I believe that is all for public comment this morning.
Thank you, Judge.
Item number 6A, presentation. Receive a presentation from the Precinct 3 Summer Scholars regarding the El Paso Central Appraisal District.
Good morning, Mr. Landeros.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Jose Landeros with the Office of Commissioner Pettis. Obviously too old to be an intern, but I think I still have that spirit and heart. Proud to be able to bring you this summer's research project that the volunteer interns in our office have worked on over the past few months. It's truly been a privilege to work alongside two very dedicated, driven, and very committed volunteer students who have really taken a challenging topic and digested it and have put together this presentation for the court this morning. As you know, this was a project that our office reintroduced to the community about a year ago. The intent is to develop leadership skills through a rigorous research-intensive internship, where the goal is to produce a report that is then presented to the Commissioners Court with conclusions and recommendations on a policy issue that directly relates to county business. Last summer, our interns produced an analysis of the level of infrastructure that was still required in our precinct. This summer, the interns have tackled an issue that is very relevant given the ongoing budget hearings that the court is in the middle of, and that is the Central Appraisal District and the evaluations, processes and procedures and operational guidelines that the CAD operates under. So with that, it's my pleasure to be able to introduce Mr. Cesar Prieto, who will go ahead and kick off this morning's presentation.
Good morning, Mr. Prieto.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. My name is Cesar Prieto, and together with my colleague, Cecily Guarito, we'll be presenting today about central appraisal districts, and more specifically, their role in valuing properties in their respective communities and how their operations and procedures influence our tax base.
And if it's helpful, you can actually move there's a little button there to move the podium up. So
that'd be great.
Yeah. There you go.
There we go. It's a product of our tax base. Okay, so before we begin, I'd like to more formally introduce ourselves. My colleague, Cecily Guarito, is a current student at Columbia University. She's studying sociology, and her expected graduation date is spring 2020. My name is Cesar Prieto. I'm a graduate of UT Austin. I study government out there, and together we make up this year's research team for Precinct 3. So we'd like to provide you with a brief overview of our presentation. First off, Cecily is going to be guiding you through a history of central appraisal districts to attempt and set a background for our study. And then Cecily will actually proceed to provide some demographics across the state for 7 different counties in our region. From there, I'll be providing some district comparisons for CADs, and part of that analysis will involve protest process and discussion, and also market value discussion. I'll then follow up by speaking about economic development and how that influences our tax base, and we'll finish off by offering our conclusions and offering some recommendations for the court to consider. So for our research methodology, we aim to offer the overall question, what effect do central appraisal districts' operations and practices have in determining a community's tax base and growth initiatives? In order to do that, we went ahead and analyzed the demographics that I mentioned. We also evaluated the tax burden that residential taxpayers have in comparison to commercial taxpayers. We also spoke about metrics that central appraisal districts have, such as regulations like the property value study imposed by the Texas Comptroller. And we also mentioned protest and appeal processes and the value lost as a result of those processes. Finally, we mentioned economic development incentives, specifically targeted industry investments and the return on investment for incentives that the county currently has in place. We'd like to acknowledge, first and foremost, the Commissioners Court for listening to our presentation today and also for receiving us and discussing our findings. We'd also like to commemorate the following people that are listed for providing us with the information that was so essential to our study. So before I hand the microphone off to Cecily, I'd like to set the stage by mentioning this slide right here. Texas is known for many things, namely that everything is bigger here, and that certainly is the case with our reliance upon property taxes. They make up a big portion of our tax roll and are a direct factor behind what we use to fund our local government services. So that being the case, it'd be ideal if property valuations were as accurate as possible. Unfortunately, Texas is what is considered to be a non-disclosure state, which means that there's no record of transaction prices shared with appraisal districts or with the public. So that means that all sales transaction information is volunteered by property owners. And that significance is discussed later on, but basically it creates a hardship when evaluating properties at their market value. So with that said, I'll hand the presentation off to Cecily.
Morning.
Judge and Commissioners. My name is Cicely, and I've had the privilege of being one of the summer interns in Commissioner Perez's office this summer. I would first like to thank you all for the opportunity to present this presentation to you, and we hope to provide you with further insight on CAD operations. So, Texas originally relied on statewide property taxes to fund government, where they provided 50 to 75% of the state government's total tax receipts. The system was very decentralized and wrought with administrative issues. And after the Civil War, local governments were individually charged with collecting taxes as well as assessing property values. In total, over 3,000 tax offices and sets of valuation existed across the state until the late 1970s. In 1979, Texas Representative Wayne Pevito, a rancher from Far East Texas, authored the legislation which led to the creation of countywide appraisal districts, laying the foundation for the current system in place. Various taxing agencies would no longer be responsible for assessing property values and instead relied on one single consolidated district. The El Paso Central Appraisal District was established in 1980. As was mentioned earlier, Texas is a non-disclosure state, meaning real estate transactions do not have to be reported to the county. Therefore, central appraisal districts have to obtain sales information through deeds, sales questionnaires, research, and each CAD adopts an individual set of standards, so there is not a set standard of valuation for districts across the state. While this allows individual districts to account for local variations in the community's tax base, it also allows for properties to be assessed differently in one community versus another. Appraisers also conduct field work by meeting with builders and property owners to find out cost and income information. The comptroller alternates between conducting two major oversight studies on appraisal districts statewide, one of which is the Administrative Methods and Assistance Program and Property Value Study. The map ensures that CADs are following the guidelines of the state tax law, and they are graded based on governance, taxpayer assistance, operating procedures, appraisal standards. CADs routinely meet this administrative review for their operations. The second survey conducted by the State Comptroller's Office evaluates the appraisal district, appraisal practices, and accuracy of each district. During the Comptroller's evaluation of property assessment, staff developed random clusters of similar property types to accurately sample data from the entire appraisal district. So in other words, not every individual property is reviewed and assessed in compliance with the 95 to 105% requirement. However, the statistical sample is developed in such a way to be applicable to the entire district. This process develops the district's median assessed valuations relationship to market value. It is the measure that is required to be within 95 to 105% of true market value. If a district fails to meet this requirement, they are allowed to enter a grace period until the next biannual assessment occurs. If the next study does not comply with the state standards, the comptroller values will be imposed only to determine the amount of state funding a community school district will receive. If the comptroller's office determines values were overvalued, then the school districts in the community would experience a decrease in state funding for the coming biannual budget. It is important to note that the comptroller's ability to impose these values does not affect the individual property owner's taxable value. The median level of appraisal is the measure that is calculated biannually by the Texas Comptroller's Office to ensure that properties are assessed accurately and, as previously stated, within 95 to 105% of the true market value. It is important to note that the Comptroller's Office is also limited by their ability to determine market value as individual appraisal districts, given that Texas is again a non-disclosure state. As the table displays, all of the comparative districts have mostly met the state's requirement of being close to 100% of market value on their valuations. As was previously stated, the staff develops individual clusters to evaluate the accuracy of property valuations by calculating a median value, which was displayed on the previous table. The PVS also provides a measure that helps determine how consistently the CADs appraise properties at the same level, the percentage of market value without regard to the value of properties. According to the Texas Comptroller's Office, low percentages in this measure indicated inequitable appraisal, while higher percentages indicated more equitable appraisals. This measure records the accuracy of assessments within 10% plus or minus of the median assessed value. The data presented is for the past 3 studies conducted for each CAD. So as the table displays of the comparative group, El Paso has one of the lowest percentages of this measure, meaning there is more inequitable appraisal of properties by the El Paso CAD as compared to others. Again, it is important to note that without this measure reflect consistency of appraisals, that this measure reflects consistently of appraisals values without regard to the value of properties. So this measure does not mean that the community has a larger range of property values, but rather that property values may be inconsistently assessed. This slide presents the 10% of median value measure discussed on the previous slide. However, it is specific to the most recent study for each CAD and highlights the value between residential, multifamily, and commercial real property for each CAD. Again, El Paso has the lowest percentage for both residential and commercial properties in their most recent property value study, ranking well below the other CADs as well as the group's median value, which is displayed at the bottom of the table. The incredibly low value of approximately 43% of commercial property indicates that this specific property type is being assessed at a significantly inconsistent rate as compared to other property types in the community and state as well. To better understand each of the counties that we included in our research, we identified demographic factors that we thought could be contributing to the economic development and tax base. So these are the 7 counties that we examined in our comparative analysis, along with the various demographic markers that we identified as contributing to a community's ability to grow its tax base. All the data was compiled from the U.S. Census Bureau. We started off by comparing population of the counties, and we can see that Harris County is significantly more populated than the other counties, and El Paso is one of the least populated counties that we studied alongside Hidalgo, but are still some of the most urbanized in the state. We also looked into population by age and found that El Paso has a younger population, and when this is combined with a lower population means a smaller percentage of the population is likely to be in a position to invest in real property, whether that's residential or commercial. When looking into per capita income, we found that El Paso has one of the lowest per capita incomes at $19,145, which is extremely lower than the highest per capita income of Travis County at $36,649. This is important because it demonstrates that income also limits the ability to own higher value properties or to invest in any property whatsoever. This graph also reiterates El Paso's low socioeconomic status by demonstrating that we have the highest poverty level. From this group of counties we studied, 32.8% of the population is below the poverty level, whereas Dallas has the lowest amount of 14.4% of the population that is below the poverty level. This value is very important for showing where El Paso's population stands compared to the other counties that we studied. Next, we looked into educational attainment rates and found that El Paso's rates are very low compared to the other counties. If you look at the percentage of the population that has a bachelor's degree or higher, it is 19%, whereas Travis County has a far higher percentage of 42.2% of the population that has obtained a higher level degree. This creates an obstacle to attracting outside investment due to the limited workforce. As this chart displays, El Paso has the second highest rate of home ownership as compared to the other comparison counties. While this may indicate an ability to own real property for our community citizens, it also highlights the inability to invest in income properties, as indicated in more affluent counties such as Bexar and Dallas, which have a nearly 1-to-1 ratio of owner and rental properties, highlighting the low investment potential of residents. Educational attainment has a great effect on the popular types of So the key takeaways that we found are, as compared to the other urban and border counties across the state, El Paso has a very low socioeconomic status, which makes it difficult to expand the tax base due to the limited income as well as social mobility. The low educational attainment makes it difficult to attract large-scale commercial investments due to the limited workforce compared to the communities such as Austin and Houston, who have had various articles reporting the community's workforce struggle to meet the growing number of jobs in the community. Such activity creates a statewide environment where El Pasoans, as well as other Texans, leave their native community in pursuit of a job, thereby contributing to the cycle of low social mobility. And now I will pass it back to Caesar to talk about the comparative analysis.
So with that background in mind, I'll now shift gears and talk about the actual operations of central appraisal districts. Some of the metrics that will be presented in this section are market values of properties assessed by CADs, including market growth rates over a span of 3 years. The other component will be protests made to CADs and the value reductions that resulted as a consequence of those appeals. The values that we will show will range from 2014 to 2016, as that was the last information available for our data set. Data was gathered from each individual appraisal district as well as from the Texas Comptroller's Office, and the comparison counting group remains the same as previously described by Cicely. So pictured here is a chart that shows the total market value growth from 2014 to 2016. The important thing to note here is that if you look at the furthest right column under growth, El Paso has a 12% growth rate. When compared to counties like Bexar at 28% or Travis like 32%, that clearly places a burden on the local government to either raise taxes or to decrease spending in order to meet government services for constituents. Whereas a county with higher growth rates might be less burdened to do so and might even be able to either lower tax rates or keep them the same. This chart here shows tax base by property type. So we've broken it down by single-family residential and commercial real property. And we'd like to point out that El Paso County has one of the highest market shares of residential properties at 52%. That's significant because that means that more than half of the tax roll is being supported by residential homeowners. And commercial properties in places like Tarrant, for instance, have a 32% share of the market, which means that they support a larger share of the tax base. So now I'll shift gears to talk about the protesting process. And basically the way that goes is that people have the option to protest the property value given to them by CAD, and that can be done in one of 3 routes. The first is to conduct an informal protest, whereby an appraiser meets with a property owner one-on-one to discuss property valuation, and the property owner presents information like photos or independent assessments to try and guarantee a value reduction. The second option is through an ARB or appraisal review board, which is considered to be a formal hearing generally comprised of a staff appraiser, the property owner, and sometimes a board member. The same evidence is presented here, but the difference is that there are more people comprising the board. The final recourse is litigation, and this is a process that is generally used by commercial properties, given that they usually have the resources to stay through the lengthy litigation process. So pictured here are single-family informal protests, along with the rate of approval for this type of protest. As we can see here, El Paso has a 66% rate of approval. However, the average loss per protest is the second highest among this in this pictured list. That means that like Cicely mentioned, the variance of the accuracy of property rates can be in question, because if this average loss is higher than other counties, that means that the initial assessment by CADs might not be as accurate as we'd hope it to be.
So, am I reading that correctly in that 65% of those protests are found to be
their values reduced?
Protest, yeah.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
So this chart is similar to the one pictured before. However, this is within the category of ARB protests. This is the protest where a property owner goes in front of a panel. And here, the rate of approval is at 79% for El Paso County. That brings the question to mind that if 8 out of 10 properties are being approved with this protest type, are they actually being assessed accurately from the outset when the initial appraisal is conducted? And that's a worrisome value because it's significantly higher than other counties on this list. So this slide shows commercial litigation protests. This is the third of the three options for protests. And if you look at the last column where it says percent reduced, El Paso County has a 21.56 reduction rate. That's more than double for some of the counties that have, for instance, Bear at an 8.42 percentage or Travis at a 9.25 percentage. That reduction percentage rate is the amount of properties that actually receive a reduction due to lawsuit. El Paso is the highest at 21.5%. So with protests out of the way, we'd like to talk about economic development in El Paso County. So as authorized by Chapter 381 of the Texas Local Government Code, a county may enter into a tax abatement agreement with an interested property owner in order to enhance and grow the local community's tax base by promoting investment in real and personal property, by eliminating or reducing the property tax burden of new investment. Locally, the County of El Paso has created an economic development department to help administer and review Chapter 381 agreements, as well as develop guidelines on the levels of abatements the court will consider and in what amount. The policies also identify the type of projects the court considers to be of value to the El Paso community. The court has adopted various criteria and guidelines related to the type of projects which may be eligible to receive grant payments under a 381 tax abatement agreement. Generally speaking, the project has to be one that will be positively contributing to the overall economy in the community through increasing the tax base or adding quality jobs to the workforce. Additionally, staff and ultimately the court determine if the cost of such a project are outweighed by the overall benefits to the economic health of the county. So we set out to analyze 21 existing agreements in place based on three major categories that are in line with the county's economic development policies. The first is development, which includes many of the capital-intensive projects that the court has incentivized, including hotels and other office infrastructure. Next is support services, which are those that are not targeted in industries but help provide a critical service to the community, which increase the supply chain or quality or economic competitiveness of the region. The last category is the various industries identified by the Borderplex Alliance as strategic and target industries. Our analysis reviewed the number of existing agreements of each category, along with the total investment to date, job creation and retention rates, as well as the maximum county grant payout to each applicant. The court has adopted various criteria and guidelines related to the type of projects, as was previously stated. So there are 21 existing agreements at the county, and approximately half of them are development related. The county has 9 agreements in place that help expand targeted industries for the region. While development agreements only were half of the existing number of agreements, this chart displays they account for 3 out of every $5 of investments related to the county's economic development agreements. In total, the county has contractually ensured just over $520 million of investment in the community, with nearly a third of that coming from the region's 6 targeted industry cluster. While most 381 agreements have some job component related to them, for example, a new hotel employing a certain number of El Pasoans at a certain wage, 75% of the job creation and retention activity from the county's agreements were a result of the targeted industry projects. Specifically, the county has provided agreements to large businesses employers such as ADP, Charles Schwab, and Fred Loy Insurance Company. This chart is representation of where the county's grant payments are driven toward. As you can see, 99 cents of every grant payment dollar goes toward abating development-related projects. These capital-intensive projects often have significant levels of investment, as was discussed 2 slides ago. However, development agreements only accounted for 60% of investment in the community. With all that established, we'd like to offer our conclusions and some recommendations to the court. If you want to come up. So after thoughtful research and analysis, we would like to offer the following conclusions and policy recommendations for the court. Texas has significantly improved local property value assessments in the past 50 years. However, a lack of statewide regulation of appraisal practices still allows for significant variation in value assessment to occur. The non-disclosure nature of Texas creates a unique challenge for appraisal districts to accurately capture the market value of properties within their jurisdiction. The limited information and practices utilized by field appraisers may lead to highly inconsistent property valuations. The Texas Comptroller's regulatory oversight of CADs is fairly limited, considering that both biannual studies administered by the state agency often yield passing results to all districts, despite concerns of consistent property valuation and other pertinent issues. According to the Comptroller's PVS, there is more inequitable and ununiform appraisal of properties by the El Paso CAD as compared to the study's comparative group. It is important to note that this measure reflects consistency of appraisal values with no regard to the value of properties. The measure does not reflect a large range of varying properties within the community. Continuing with the inequitable appraisal processes that may exist in El Paso, this practice is more prevalent within the commercial property type as compared to residential properties, as seen in the 2016 study for El Paso CAD. El Paso's low socioeconomic status significantly limits the ability for the community to engage in and attract critical investment to expand the workforce and tax base, ultimately perpetuating a cycle of low socioeconomic status fueled by talented and educated individuals relocating to other communities with high-wage jobs. El Paso has the second lowest tax base growth rate, placing local governments in circumstances where they must either raise taxes or decrease spending levels to meet the community's needs. The issues related to accuracy of appraisals is highlighted by the El Paso CAD's appeals and protest processes, including approving nearly 80% of submitted ARB single-family protests. With that said, we'd like to speed up and cover our recommendations. So of the six, the Texas legislature should conduct an interim study aimed at evaluating disparities in appraisal district practices to ensure Texas CADs are receiving consistent and standardized services from their respective CADs. The Texas legislature should also propose legislation changing the status of Texas to a disclosure state to help provide greater resources to CADs in an effort to meet the growing demands of local governments. Further, local CADs should foster a positive relationship with the community to promote participation and understanding of the appraisal and protest process. The Texas Comptroller should request additional regulatory authority to ensure more standardized valuation practices across the state. The El Paso CAD Board of Directors should also request additional information related to the large variances in property value assessments, as identified by the Comptroller's property value study, to ensure that all taxing entities and the public that properties are assessed uniformly. The county should prioritize 381 agreements for targeted industries, given their ability to generate a significant amount of quality jobs for their community at a relatively low cost. Finally, the county should consider partnering with UTEP and other local institutions of higher learning to provide a direct pipeline for graduates into the workforce to address what is known as the brain drain effect. So that concludes our presentation. We'll be happy to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you very much.
Thank you both for the presentation. Clearly, there was a lot of work put into it, and this is definitely not an area that is easy to tackle. This has been a conversation that so many people have had for such a long time, and I know, Commissioner Perez, you serve on the Appraisal District Board, and I think you've seen firsthand how there is a clear need to advocate for some changes, I think.
Yeah. Judge and Commissioners, well, Cesar and Cicely, thank you very much for this research. And, Commissioners, it's really hard to find this level of quality research. This is the first time I've heard their presentation, and I was telling the interns that, the work they were doing as I saw them researching. They were here over the weekend, in preparation for today's meeting, and so they were working on Saturday and working on Sunday to get this ready for Commissioners Court's review. I can tell you that there's, to my knowledge, I've sat on the Central Appraisal District Board now for 3 years, and I don't believe there's any study of this nature out there in the state of Texas. And so the research that you compiled is incredibly useful for our purposes. I'm sure to the Central Appraisal District, and I'm sure to other counties in Texas. Again, it's very difficult to find these level of customized studies. So, Commissioners, this information is for your review. Certainly there's a lot in here for not only as it pertains to how our property is assessed, but also, taking a look at our 381s. I just want to thank them very much for their work. They were very dedicated, never complained. They were always working very hard, and I appreciate their efforts and wish them the best of luck. Judge, if I may, we just have a little something. Our Public Works Department made an El Paso County street sign for Sicily and for Caesar, with their names, and it says El Paso County and Precinct 3. And so I just want to present them with that from our Public Works Department to thank them for their hard work.
Round of applause, please.
You can have a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Before you all sit down, though, I did have just a couple of questions, Commissioner. First, I wanted to thank you, Commissioner, and your staff, Jose and George, for always hosting summer scholars who do an incredible job in shedding light on some really important policy issues for the county to consider. I was wondering if the presentation was going to go before the Central Appraisal District.
I'm sorry?
If the presentation was going to go before the Central Appraisal District.
I think it's certainly something that I'll bring up. Again, I don't think the Board of Directors has ever looked at these metrics and relative to how El Paso compares to other counties, so it's certainly something that I'll put on the agenda.
I think it'd be great. And then part of what I thought would be really neat is of the recommendations that were provided. I know we can't take action on this item, but in terms of the Texas legislative session items, what I'll probably do is put them on the county's legislative agenda in our values document to be able to support any legislation that takes action on any of these pieces, and that'll be something we can discuss whenever we discuss the legislative agenda. But I think it'd be helpful for the court to at least have formally in our legislative agenda some of the recommendations that were put before us, and that's on the first page of the recommendation sheet. And so I think that would be ideal, unless anybody has any issues with that. The other is, do you all have what are your future plans? I hope you stay in El Paso.
I'm not sure yet, but I do want to go into like any type of I have like a lot of plans in mind. I might go into law or like any kind of like job that I work with the public, so maybe public policy, and that's what I'm thinking of for now. But
you come back and run for office one day?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Excellent.
For myself, I think that landing this internship and having interaction with the court every day and seeing how policy analysis works, it really sealed my interest for public administration. So I secured a position with AmeriCorps. They have a program that partners with the city to do work in low-income communities, and it's with the Community and Human Development Department. So I'll be working there for a year, and hopefully after that pursue my master's in public administration. And I hope to come back to El Paso to implement that.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you, Commissioner Perez and your team, for the great work and the great presentation. So thank you.
Thank you for your time. We'll also be producing a report, I believe, sometime within the following week, and we'll make that available to you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 7, board appointments. Approve and authorize the appointment of Alexandra Anello to the Emergence Health Network Board of Trustees to fulfill the term ending December 31st, 2018. Ms. Anello is being appointed to the position vacated by Ms. Catherine Payton.
Judge, Commissioners, we've placed this item on. Ms. Anello has completed the required training. If it's the pleasure of the court to approve the appointment.
And really quickly, I know Commissioner Haggerty had a comment. This is an appointment, a joint appointment between the county judge and UMC. We had talked about it briefly several months ago. There's been a vacancy for quite some time now. Part of the reason why I think, I don't want to speak for UMC, but at least for me, I wanted to ensure there was more gender equity on the board. There's only one female that's currently serving, and that's Ms. Wilson. I think Ms. Anello has shown a significant interest in mental health. She has attended the EHN legislative exchange that was held recently. She participates in the Paso del Norte Health Foundation's Behavioral Health Consortium, which looks at various issues when it comes to mental and behavioral health in the community and ways to solve them. And so I also think that this opens up a potential avenue to engage the city a bit more. I know there was an interest by the city to have 2 seats on the EHM board, but I don't know that it would take bylaws changes to actually formally provide 2 seats. So I think this is a great way to see how the CIT program flows, how it works, and hopefully in the future we can have additional engagement from the city of El Paso, but this might be a step in the right direction. So, Commissioner Haggerty?
I was just going to say, I work with her on the Rio Grande Council of Governments Board. She's an excellent board member. She speaks up, which in itself says something. And I think it's a great decision, and I move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Item number 8, Commissioners Court. Approve and authorize the County of El Paso 911 District Fiscal Year 2019 proposed budget.
Good morning. Commissioners, this is a routine item that we place on our agenda every year, and so we have with us Ms. Mary Kozak with the 911 District to provide us an overview of their budget plan. And you can actually, Ms. Kozak, lower the podium there if it makes it a little easier.
Let's see if I can reach that mic. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Judge. Thank you very much for seeing us today. As we do every year, we're here to request that you approve our budget. This will be for fiscal year 2019. As you all know, the El Paso County 911 District is a special purpose district created by the voters in 1987, so we just passed our 30 years of service for the technical support of our community's 911 system.
Mary, I don't know if you want to just move that a little closer, just so
Okay.
that folks can hear that, the audience there. Thank you. Sorry.
Our mission is to provide a 911 system for our community, and we are governed by a board of managers which are appointed from among our governmental entities. Our income is from 911 fees. We provide the primary PSAP facility along with answering points in Socorro, Horizon, and Fort Bliss, and a backup center. Our primary PSAP, which we opened last year, also houses the Office of Emergency Management, the Emergency Operations Center, and the Fusion Center. In addition to the phone system, we provide the computer-aided dispatch system, which is used by essentially all local response agencies, both law enforcement and fire, about 36 agencies in all. And this year, we are completing our implementation of texting to 911, which should be online by the end of this calendar year. So we're looking forward to it, a whole new technology. Our total budget for fiscal year 2019 is $9.8 million. This does show a 15% increase, but that's a little deceptive. We did no projects last year because we were still getting the building ready to go. We had things we needed to complete. So we've actually added projects back into the building, into the budget. The projects are designed to increase and improve services to our community. It's an upgrade to the CAD. In addition of technologies to the Threadgill Center, we want to make a backup pod so that a lot of our agencies that have nowhere to run if they go down would have a place to come to, and improvements to the Kansas Backup Center. So we've existed for 30 years, providing technical systems that facilitate and support the emergency response from the initial receipt of the call through the arrival of help on the scene. This budget supports that continuing mission, and I wonder if anybody had any questions.
Mary, if you can just go back and describe for the folks at home what you mean by the Fusion Center.
The Fusion Center is a law enforcement entity. It consists of members from all the local law enforcement disciplines. It's hosted by the El Paso PD, and it's essentially intelligence and intelligence gathering, information dispersing for law enforcement.
And also, you mentioned something that's quite exciting, the ability to receive texting.
We're pretty excited. This is the first new technology for 911 that we've been put in, well, since almost forever. I mean, we've upgraded phone systems and changed CADs and things like that. But the ability to text to 911, I think, is it's part of NG 911, Next Generation 911. And I think it'll be a boon to our hearing and speech community, a way to directly connect. A lot of them are on phones now instead of the TTY. And of course, if you're in trouble and you can't talk, it's another way to contact 911. The motto is talk if you can, text if you can't.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Both, and you have Mr. Calderwood here, who's
Yes.
served as the coordinator for the Office of Emergency Management, and we've enjoyed a great relationship with you and your team in ensuring that the county is also up to speed when it comes to emergency responses, and working with you on the Everbridge system and being able to text our employees and our department heads in the event of any situation. So we really appreciate your collaboration with the county.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions, concerns?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Bettis?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Item number 9, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 81.032, approve and authorize the County of El Paso's Community Services Department to accept a donation from Texas State Board of Education member Georgina Perez in the amount of 1,500 books for the Agua Dulce Community Center.
Morning.
Good morning. I'm fascinated by that report, particularly the recommendations of partnerships. I will be talking to you about that, and the education attainment, which we're doing, and we're having some great successes with increasing the number of individuals that are attaining their high school diplomas because they have successfully demonstrated college, career, and military leadership and readiness, which is the state's requirement, the state's threshold. So I hope to see not only a sunrise in the next legislative session, but a tremendous increase in each one of those counties, but as counties across the state as well. This morning, I want to say thank you, Judge Vogt, commissioners, for allowing me to speak to you, specifically on the partnership that we will now have with the Agua Dulce Community Center to create a community library, if you will, because as you know, that the city of El Paso continues to implement their ordinance that anybody who does not have proof of residency in city limits does not have free access to El Paso public libraries. While we know that that is common practice across the state, simply because our neighbors do it doesn't mean we should too, particularly because El Paso continues to be of the lowest in the nation when it comes to literacy levels. We have regularly been ranked as the third least or the fourth least literate in the nation for at least the last decade. I will go on record to say that we only measure English literacy. Well, I think that's a mistake, but it is the way that the rubric is applied. We have had a partnership with many entities across the county since 2005 to contribute books to either build home libraries, because outside of city limits there aren't an abundance of freestanding structures where we can develop these kinds of partnerships. But this one particularly is quite meaningful because there's already a system in place where people know where the books can be found. They're not necessarily supervised, which is my favorite. And we are not asking for anybody to demonstrate any kind of documentation or photo ID or anything of that nature to participate in a book exchange. To date, our initial donation has been approximately 40 boxes. I think that's low. In each box, there's probably between 20 and 35 books. The estimated value of each book is $30, so a very low estimation of the value of the initial contribution of books to the Agua Dulce Community Center is $24,000. These donations include reading materials of all genres for all ages in English and Spanish, particularly Spanish because that's a community request. We have also expanded our reach to include audiobooks, not only for English learners, but particularly for the sight impaired.
Appreciate you being here this morning. Commissioners, do you have any questions? I personally like to say thank you so much for all that you've done to be supportive of the community. This is a great collaborative, but I'm sure that all of you know, commissioners, that Ms. Bettis is incredibly involved in the community. I have the pleasure of serving as a mentor to 3 great young community scholars through a program that was started by Ms. Bettis. And she's been at the forefront of ensuring that our students in the classroom are gaining the education that is accurate to Texas history and U.S. history and inclusive of all those that have been a part of that history. And so thank you so much for all that you have done to represent El Paso so well. And this is just another great example of the good work that you're doing.
Good. I also just want to echo my thanks to Member Bettis for all of her work to bring awareness to literacy. As she mentioned, it's it's a very difficult situation because formerly our county residents used to go into the city of El Paso and utilize libraries in the Isleta area, and after the city implemented a fee on residents, utilization rates have declined. Yes. And I think moving forward, I hope the court considers the possibility of opening up county libraries or county facilities. Other counties in the state have done this. Yes. There are digital libraries in other counties in Texas. But without those city facilities, our county residents are going to be without these types of critical resources, and it's particularly concerning given the literacy rates here in our community. So I thank you for the donation. I thank you for raising awareness to this issue, and I hope it's an incentive for the court to do more when it comes to literacy. So.
I would say that not only should it be something that is, I believe, prioritized, obviously, because education should be one of our biggest investments, particularly because to invest in a young person is so much more cost effective and fiscally responsible than the forced expense in adulthood, because we know that you're an adult much longer than you are a child. But the idea that we're taxing essentially, because what our El Paso public libraries call these cards are resident cards, and they're at a cost of $50. And so while I do not mean in any way to infer that our county residents can afford that or cannot afford that, ultimately for those who cannot, what we're doing is not only have we limited their access to knowledge, but they also do not have access to Wi-Fi. As you all know, that once you pass Socorro High School, Wi-Fi doesn't exist. There is no infrastructure for broadband. And so not only are they limited in their free access to literacy and reading materials, but they're also now limited to access to online banking, access to any kind of community and financial luxuries, I think, that are now far less of a luxury than they are a necessity. But we continue that practice in the city of El Paso, and much to our own detriment. If we're taxing knowledge, then what's next?
Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve as stated in item 9.
Second.
Commissioner Bettis?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, you too.
Item number 10, County and District Clerk, postponed August 6, 2018. Approve and record into the Commissioners Court meeting minutes the District Clerk certificate of the District Judge's order to approve the County Auditor's budget for fiscal year 2019 pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 84.021, 84.901, 111.044, 152.031, 152.032, 152.034, and 152.905.
Good morning.
Good morning. Commissioners, I believe that we are going to request that this item be heard in executive session.
Okay.
So if everyone's okay with that, I'll ask the county attorney's office to go ahead and read that item for us.
Sure. In order to, my understanding is you all want to hear this after an executive session to discuss your legal rights and responsibilities. So in order to do that, this item would be read into the record as pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, discuss legal rights and responsibilities regarding the recording into the Commissioners Court meeting minutes, the District Clerk's certificate of the District Judge's order to approve the County Auditor's budget for fiscal year 2019 pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Sections 84.021, 84.901, 111.044, 152.031, 152.032, 152.034, and .905.
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I will be on standby.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Item number 11, Human Resources. Approve and authorize the transfer of one Assistant Training Director position from the Sheriff's Office, paid from a grant through an interlocal agreement with the Rio Grande Council of Government, to a general fund position. The full impact for this transferred position would be $78,500. Funds are available in General Fund, Sheriff's Office Academy, salary, full-time regular.
Judge, Commissioners, I've asked that you all consider moving this to the budget discussion. Melissa Carrillo, HR officer, has also notified Chief Whitten that we would be requesting the court to allow us to move this over to budget. The intent was to use some salary savings from some position changes earlier in the year. However, I believe those salary savings have already been swept up into fund balance projections for FY19 budget. So this would be most appropriate to consider during the budget hearings tomorrow and Wednesday. And the presentation I sent you over the weekend includes adding this position.
So we would
if you decide to consider that. There would be no action today.
Everybody okay with that? Commissioners, any questions? I had the same question actually in reviewing the agenda as to why it wasn't a budget item, so I appreciate that it's been moved into budget. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So no action on item 11.
Thank you, Judge.
Item number 12, grant applications. Approve the submission of grant applications as listed and described. If awarded, all grant award agreements will be brought back to the Commissioners Court for final acceptance and approval. Approve and authorize the county judge to sign the fiscal year 18 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program online grant application in the amount of $220,208. These funds will be split equally between the county and the city of El Paso for the benefit of the El Paso Police Department, the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, and the El Paso District Attorney's Office. When awarded, the grant program period will begin on October 1st, 2018 through September 30th, 2019. There is no county match required.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge, members of the court. This is the annual JAG application that we bring before the court. Ms. Hernandez and I rotate doing the applications, and this year it's my pleasure to present this to you. This application split, like they've said, equally between the city and the county. The city's portion will be to purchase 27 portable radios and to assist with the NIBRS compliance. The county's portion will be to purchase 42 in-motion units to make them Verizon 4G compliant, and the district attorney's portion will be to buy 6 computers for their paperless file project. This year, the new part of the JAG requirement is that 3% of the JAG has to be set aside to make sure that we are NIBRS compliant by 2019, that the federal government is making all law enforcement jurisdictions be. So 3% of this application, both in the city and the county's portion, will be to make sure we're NIBRS compliant or ready to be NIBRS compliant.
Move to approve. Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge Vogt?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Item number 13, approve and authorize the county judge to sign the fiscal year 18 Law Enforcement Support Office application participation form for the El Paso County Sheriff's Office.
Good morning.
Morning, Judge, Commissioners. Deputy Baca with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office Emergency Management Unit. On this item, we're asking authorization for the annual application required by the Texas LISO program. The program is basically Department of Defense equipment that's no longer used by the military and by the Office of the Governor. They're authorizing us to use any kind of equipment that they no longer see fit, such as water coolers, printers, camo netting, metal detectors, goggles, tents, wool blankets, forklifts, toolboxes, anything that we can utilize in the county, it's free. The only thing that they require is to maintain inventory of it, but once it ends of life, we just discard it through the county.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a great afternoon.
Item number 14, Budget and Finance. Pursuant to the Texas Local Government Code Section 152.013B, discuss and take action on the proposed annual salaries, expenses, or allowances for elected county and precinct officers for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2018. Any proposed salary or allowance increases will be published in a local newspaper of general circulation. These salaries and any proposed increases would take effect on October 1st, 2018, and upon the adoption of the county budget. At the request of the Budget Director, we'd like to ask for this item to be deleted.
This will be discussed over the next couple of days in the actual budget hearings.
Move to delete.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 15, approve amendment number 44 to the County of El Paso's 2017 to 2018 operating budget. This budgetary amendment will not decrease or increase the County of El Paso's 2017 through 2018 overall operating budget of $491,341,188.53.
Good morning, County Judge and Commissioners. Gabby Federal from the Budget and Fiscal Policy Department. Are there any questions I can answer at this time?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Commissioners, Court will now recess into executive session to discuss items 16A through 16C and item number 10, pursuant to Texas Local Government Code Section 551.071 and 551.074 and 551.087. Commissioners, Court will reconvene to take official action.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canotillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canotillo Avenue in Canotillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Danny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting.
Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know that you can save money on the cost of your medications? And doing so is easy. In 2015, the County of El Paso launched a prescription discount card program from coast to coast. The cards are available to all El Paso County residents free of charge and everyone qualifies. You can pick up a card at any county office location, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, or Target pharmacies, or simply print the card at www.coastrx.com. Happy savings!
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the Purchasing Department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus to public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barriz started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the purchasing department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the purchasing department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canotillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canotillo Avenue in Canotillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Danny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting.
Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know that you can save money on the cost of your medications? And doing so is easy. In 2015, the County of El Paso launched a prescription discount card program from coast to coast. The cards are available to all El Paso County residents free of charge and everyone qualifies. You can pick up a card at any county office location, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, or Target pharmacies, or simply print the card at www.coastrx.com. Happy savings!
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the purchasing department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus to public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts, or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346 District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barriz started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the purchasing department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the purchasing department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The County of El Paso Public Works Department is offering sandbags at no cost or requirements to the public. The sandbags are outside of the facilities and are available 24 hours a day. The location of the county facilities are the following: the Road and Bridge Fabens Warehouse, located at 1331 North Fabens Street in Fabens, Texas, 79838. The Road and Bridge Canutillo Warehouse, located at 191 Canutillo Avenue in Canutillo, Texas, 79835. And the Road and Bridge Montana Warehouse, located at 14698 Van Lane, El Paso, Texas, 79938.
Commissioner Andrew Haggerty would like to invite you to his weekly breakfast meeting that takes place every Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at Danny's Diner, located at 4690 Trans Mountain Road. Every week he has a different speaker who will be discussing topics of interest for the community. So if you live in the Northeast, West Side, or anywhere else in the county, come and join us for the breakfast meeting.
Don't wait in line, pay online. Visit the Financial Recovery Division website at http://www.epcounty.com/budget/financialrecovery.htm to make your payments online or find out more about our kiosk locations. We now accept payments on misdemeanor, felony, and justice of the peace cases.
You can now watch Commissioners Court meetings on YouTube. Go to youtube.com and search for El Paso County Commissioners or El Paso County, Texas. Subscribe to our channels to see our latest videos.
Did you know that you can save money on the cost of your medications? And doing so is easy. In 2015, the County of El Paso launched a prescription discount card program from coast to coast. The cards are available to all El Paso County residents free of charge and everyone qualifies. You can pick up a card at any county office location, Walgreens, Walmart, CVS, or Target pharmacies, or simply print the card at www.coastrx.com. Happy savings!
Did you know the County of El Paso's Purchasing Department is responsible for ensuring that all items and services needed by various county departments are purchased in the manner required by the state of Texas? Whether through formal sealed bids or smaller dollar quotations, the county purchasing team is dedicated to finding the best contracting return on your taxpayer dollars. Additionally, the purchasing department is responsible for the tracking of inventory within the county and properly disposing surplus to public auctions. For questions about how to become a vendor and compete for county contracts, or to learn more about public auctions, please contact us at telephone number 915-546-2048.
The 346th District Court Judge Angie Juarez Barriz started the El Paso Veterans Treatment Court Program in 2012 for veterans and active service members that have been arrested and charged with a felony or misdemeanor criminal offense. To be considered for the specialty court, the statutory criteria includes be a veteran or current member of the United States Armed Forces, including a member of the Reserves, National Guard, or State Guard, and suffer from a brain injury, mental illness, or mental disorder, including PTSD, or be a victim of military sexual trauma, all occurring or resulting from military service. Call Sylvia Serna, Veterans Program Director, at 915-546-2119, or email her at sserna@epcounty.com for any information.
Did you know that the County of El Paso's fixed asset control and inventory disposal is handled through the purchasing department? Throughout the course of each business year, the county holds live public auctions to dispose of aged equipment, vehicles, furniture, and other items that are no longer needed. To find out about upcoming auctions or to learn more about the county's inventory disposal process, contact the purchasing department at telephone number 915-546-2048.
Commissioners Court has reconvened into regular open session. Item number 10, postponed August 6, 2018. Approve and record into the Commissioners Court meeting minutes the District Clerk's certificate of the District Judge's order to approve the County Auditor's budget for fiscal year 2019 pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 84.021, 84.901, 111.044, 152.031, 152.032, 152.034, and 152.905.
There's a motion to postpone this item for 1 week. I make the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 17, discuss and take appropriate action on personnel matters regarding the Office of Justice of the Peace, Precinct 6-1.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge, Commissioners. Melissa Carrillo with Human Resources. The recommendation is for the court to approve an additional 6 days of administrative leave for Ms. Wendy Deborah Baron.
Motion to approve. Second.
Commissioner Perez?
Aye.
Commissioner Leon?
Aye.
Commissioner Stout?
Aye.
Commissioner Haggerty?
Aye.
Judge vote? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I believe that's all for today. We are adjourned.
This concludes today's meeting at 12:22 p.m.
It's a good job on the interns.